Today is day 28 of the hardcore 30-day discipline challenge, in which these are the rules for the next 30 days. 1 workout every day. 1 meditation every day. Read 5 pages of a book every day. No social media except for allowing myself to post on YouTube. No ultra-processed food, and no watching any TV, videos, or any content. I'll also be sharing my screen time at the end of the video so you can see I'm not cheating. Today is Friday, July the 11th. Let's get into it. It's 5:40. Let's get up. Another day, another run. $11 kilos in the backpack. It's 9 o'clock, I've just had a shower and I want to have an honest conversation. Last night when I stopped filming, around an hour later, I went down to the kitchen and I was just like reacting to my emotions. I pulled some sourdough bread out of the freezer, 4 slices to be exact, and I had peanut butter and honey on them, and then I went into the fridge and I had like this leftover piece of quiche. I was snacking on some dried fruit, and honestly I wasn't hungry. I had just been to a restaurant. It was just like this reaction of wanting some comfort. And technically speaking, I didn't have like any ultra processed food because I never even have treats in the house, and everything was like the quiche was homemade, blah 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 blah. But that's not why I'm trying to bring this up. But I'm bringing it up because it honestly made me feel like a bit of shame around it. Like, I wasn't hungry, I was full, and I was feeling like bloated, and yet I just still kept like eating these different things. And I've woken up this morning feeling pretty lousy. Like, I feel bloated, I feel uncomfortable in my body. And look, is it the end of the world that that happened? Of course it's not. But personally, I don't like it when I feel like my emotions control me, or I just react to things. And so the reason I wanted to bring it up is obviously because I want to be honest with you, because I'm sharing this journey. But most importantly, I want to be honest with myself. And I was reading this book last night, and there was a few lines in there that I was thinking about this morning. So I'm going to read it out, just these few lines, because I think it's really in context with what I'm saying here. Because I'll be honest, I didn't actually want to share this because I did feel a bit ashamed. But let me read this out to you. This is actually a business book, but it says, "One definition of a moment of suffering is the moment when you see things exactly the way they are. This whole time you've been convinced your business is doing great, and really you've ignored the signs it's not doing well. Then your business fails and you suffer because you've been putting off reality. You've been hiding it from yourself. The hard thing is seeing the truth. To see the truth, you have to get your ego out of the way, because your ego doesn't want to face the truth. The smaller you can make your ego, the less conditioned you can make your reactions, the less desires you can have about the outcome you want, and the easier it will be to see the reality." Obviously, he's talking about business here, but this context can be for anything in life. The last bit I'll read out is that he says, "The more desire I have for something to work out a certain way, the less likely I am to see the truth. Especially in business, if something isn't going well, I try to acknowledge it publicly, and I try to acknowledge it publicly in front of my co-founders and friends and co-workers. Then I'm not hiding it from anybody else. If I'm not hiding it from anybody, I'm not going to delude myself from what's actually going on." And the reason I think this is so powerful is because a lot of us tend to live in a lot of delusions in our mind, where we might have something negative in our lives, or we might be doing a negative behavior. Maybe we have an addiction. Maybe we have shame about an addiction and we don't tell anybody about it. Maybe we're binge eating in silence. Maybe we have a pornography addiction, and we keep these things hidden from other people, but also sometimes from ourselves. We try and convince ourselves that everything is okay, or we don't look at the red flags, or we ignore the signs, because to face reality would be painful. But facing that pain is your way out, because you're acknowledging reality, you're acknowledging the truth, and now you can move in a different direction and grow, even if it's painful. And look, the reality is, last night I reacted to my emotions. I overate. I feel uncomfortable today. I feel a bit gross in myself. I'm not trying to make this situation seem bigger than what it is, as if it's this massive problem in my life, but I wanted to be very honest about it because I think it's important. And the last 2 nights I've been doing some journaling, and I've been forcing myself to sit there with my notebook for like an hour, and it's been slightly confronting and showing me patterns that maybe I'm letting slide or ignoring. And to give you a bit of insight into what I mean, let's take meditation. Sometimes I feel like I'm not actually showing up to my meditation session as my best self and giving my best effort. Instead, I'm kind of treating it like a checkbox. Oh, I've done my meditation today. I've sat there for 10 minutes and I've done it. When really I know, if I'm truthfully honest with myself, I'm not actually giving it my full best effort. And honestly, it's a waste of time if I'm doing that, because I'm not going to get the best results then. But that's something that I need to work on. And I'm going to share with you a story of how I failed this year. But this year I went to a 10-day meditation retreat. So it was a silent retreat, and you were meditating for 11 hours every day. It was very, very intense. I'll leave the video here if you want to go and check it out. But when you leave, they suggest that you meditate for 2 hours every day. And obviously that seems like a lot right now, right? If you're not used to meditating, that seems like, oh my God, 2 hours every day. But after coming out of meditating for 10 days, 11 hours every day, 2 hours actually seems doable. You're kind of like, oh, 2 hours, okay, I can do that. And if you watch my shorts on YouTube, you'll see that for the first week or two, I really tried to do it. I really wanted to make it work. Honestly, I did. But when I came out, it was just so different to being in there, of course, because you're in there with no distractions. There's literally nothing going on to distract your mind. And then you come into the real world and all the busyness gets into you again. And so I was finding it so hard to stick to it. And in the end, what I did is I just completely fell off my practice. I didn't even practice for 5 minutes a day. I just completely fell off it and threw it all away because I became too overwhelmed. And looking back now on reflection, it's also because I wasn't being honest with myself. My ego didn't want to admit to myself that I just come out of meditating 11 hours every day. So I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Look what I can do. And then 2 hours, I was like, my ego was bruised. I was like, why can't I do this? And if I was actually truthful with myself and actually saw reality, I would have seen that that was too much for me to try and commit to. I could have easily just lowered the time and made it work, but my ego didn't want to face the truth, which is that I was finding it hard. And so instead I kept pushing myself, and then I fell off the practice altogether. And honestly, I just want to share with you openly, because we're all making mistakes out here. Something else I've noticed I do when I'm trying to focus and work during the day is that I'll open up YouTube, the website, on my laptop, and I don't click on any videos. I generally haven't watched anything, but I just open up the website to just see if maybe someone's put a comment on my videos. My brain is probably seeking that little source of validation, but honestly, it's just a stupid behavior to do because it completely takes me out of my workflow, and I'm like, why am I doing that? So again, that's something that I just want to confront and change. And so all of this is to share that no one's perfect, and when you're trying to build up new habits or make changes in your life, the truth is you probably will fall off sometimes. You will make mistakes, you will make failures, but what matters most is not the event that happens, but how you then get back on track after it. For example, today I woke up in the morning, I felt lousy, I felt uncomfortable in my body, I'm super bloated, but the worst thing that I could honestly do would be to sit here and just beat myself up. Why did you do that? You stupid piece of crap, whatever. Because all that would probably do is keep me stuck. And so instead, it's like, okay, how can I move forward from here? How can I get back on track again? And also to reflect on what can I learn from that experience? Why did I react that way? What emotion was I feeling? So that next time in the same situation, I can then understand myself better and choose a different reaction. And so I hope this hasn't sounded like I'm rambling, but I just wanted to really be truthfully honest and show the journey that it's not perfect. I'm gonna get into work now and try and have a good day. Just pausing the video quickly to let you know, if you click the top link in the video description, you'll be added to the free 30-day discipline challenge course and community, where you'll get access to resources and tips on how to build up better habits, and you'll be surrounded by like-minded individuals who are also working on themselves. I hope to see you in there. Okay, it is 8:30 and oh my god, what a day. What a weird day today was. For dinner, I had leftover homemade quiche with some cucumber. I read some of my book. I just did 45 minutes of journaling and I'm feeling so much better now. In fact, I'm kind of laughing at myself and just seeing the funny side of it. Honestly, this morning I felt so vulnerable to share all of that. I really did. But now I'm kind of just finding it funny. I'm I was so scared to share the fact that I'd eaten some sourdough bread. Obviously, I still stand by everything that I said, but I think it's also just as important to find the humor in things. When I mentioned my meditation retreat this morning, that was one thing that was so heartwarming. is that when the teacher is teaching you the practice in the retreat, a constant thing that they remind you is that when your mind wanders and you bring it back, to always smile. To always smile when it wanders and then bring it back. It's always like rooted in compassion. It's never rooted in like, you should get angry at yourself, you should hate yourself, you should bring yourself down. Instead, it's just like, just laugh at yourself. Like your mind is like wandered and it's like, you just notice it and just laugh and then come back. Sometimes we can be so harsh on ourselves. We can put so much pressure on ourselves. And sometimes you just have to like let loose a little bit, you know? But anyway, enough of my bibbly babbling. Sorry if I chewed your ear off this whole episode. Let's do a screen time check. Today is 1 hour and 7 minutes. The top being CapCut, the video editing software. Then I posted on YouTube, WhatsApp, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. Honestly, today has been a weird day. What the hell happened? I don't know. I don't even know. I'm gonna go get a good night's sleep, start tomorrow off in a fresh new way, and I will see you tomorrow.